Welcome to WSDH Live, 91.5 Sandwiches Community Radio Station. I'm your host, Jay McGrail, and this is our podcast that we do. Today we have Franke in the studio with us to talk about his career in Sandwich. He's a retiring teacher from the high school here that taught social studies and social sciences and a number of million different things here. And thank you very much for joining me today.
It's great to be here today.
Yeah, so I met you through being on the school committee. I've met you over the last few years when you've come in and presented for the field trips to Washington, D.C. to talk about the Model UN stuff that you're doing. And one thing that's been clear throughout my time on the school committee is you're one of the most well-respected teachers we had in the building.
Well, thank you very much.
You know, a lot of the students really have a lot of really strong feelings about the work that you've done here. So we're going to miss you, that's for sure.
Well, there are many things I'll miss about being here, and one of them is the students. Sandwich students bring a great deal of enthusiasm to a class, and maybe that's part of knowing how to tap that. That might be my skill, but I've noticed that when you work with Sandwich students in class, or when you take them to a Model United Nations conference, they have this thing we call get up and go-go. They just stand up and start talking. And the faculty, advisors, and moderators at other schools love that, because it's a Saturday morning, you bring a busload of 20 Sandwich students in. Since they debate every Monday night, which is more than a lot of the other schools can run because of how they structure their programs.
Yeah.
Their practice. So the topic starts, the gavel hits, and the first people making a speech, some of it's our students.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of quiet people in the room, suddenly, I can talk just like them.
Right.
And they help get the ball going. And that's a great thing to be able to watch.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to miss that. The thing, as I've talked to people, I found, particularly this spring, it's nice to get up a little bit later in the morning at 6 years old. But I'm going to miss being with the students and the staff as well.
Being in the building.
Just being in the building, because they've supported me throughout all these years. Years ago, you mentioned some things earlier about things that you'll learn about Sandwich. Back, I would say about 15 years ago, we used to take half a day here in school, set up to debate in the auditorium so classes could come down and watch us.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
And that was neat. It put a lot of stress on the building, though, because teachers wanted to teach perhaps their classes, and here we've got these kids, and the kids wanted to come down and see, and that could put stresses and strains. So the fact they brought those classes down, I'm very grateful for it, because they had to change what they did in order to provide some support.
Well, it's a really strong skill that you're teaching these kids.
It is.
Debating and being able to get up like that really fast and speak on the fly. I mean, that's something, man, I wish that in high school I had that opportunity, because that's something that I love to do. I think I would have excelled at.
One of the great things, Sandwich has been very strong with providing that opportunity over the years. And we've provided, obviously, a great deal of continuity for that, because it's been running for 32 years. But as we've gone through the years, we've had programs where students have to get up and do something in front of people. And when you see how Sandwich Soul performs, and they do that in their context, that's a really important thing to go to another place and perform. When we take our students to conferences where first of all, they're dealing with the students they're going to deal with in college. And they're meeting them for the first time, so they're leaving Sandwich to go out and encounter and work with students that they haven't worked before. But they're also seeing students from every single walk of life, from high schools that might be in tougher neighborhoods to high schools that might be among the best in the country, interacting, learning, growing. And over the years, when we've mock trial programs, or the DECA program, where you had to go down and compete in the business simulation that they ran, that put students with other people and had to step out, and we've had students be very successful.
Oh yeah, those are life skills.
Those are life skills.
Yeah. And
they're things that I hope we can, I'll be watching, and as I work, I see that continue and grow.
So there's definitely some people in the audience, like I was 2 years ago, that didn't know anything about the Model UN that we have here, amazingly enough. So can you just do a quick overview on how that program came to be and what you did with it over the years?
32 years ago, we were my department head and I, Bob Inman, I just hired as a new teacher. We're looking for ways to do things that got students out of the classroom and learning outside the classroom. And Model United Nations was brought to me by a student, Brian Keene, of the class of '87. It was a conference at Clark, which they ran on a weekend, and said, we got to go to this. So I had no idea what was going on, but I did some research, applied. We took 5 students up. And for a weekend, I saw Model UN in action. And what I saw was students debating solutions to important international issues, learning parliamentary procedure, engaging in some real tough discussions, and standing their ground, and learning how to come to agreements. And I said, this is what students need. It was the life skill part of it, plus the issues, because they're getting exposed to international issues that are of course going to affect them. And the committees dealt with everything from resolving conflicts to economic issues to human rights issues, and every perspective on those is represented. And if you have to deal with every perspective, you're going to learn more about every single political viewpoint that there is. So you can pack that all into one weekend. I'm saying to myself, okay, let's try this. So we carved out Monday nights as the meeting time. Nobody else wanted Monday night. It wasn't bumping up against sports. It wasn't bumping us up against any other extracurricular. Said, okay, it's going to be Monday night. We started meeting for an hour and a half first, then we stretched to 2 hours. And what we did is we said, okay, students, you're going to come in, you're going to be assigned a nation, we're going to have a topic, and you're going to debate what to do about it. Started off with 5 students, then built to 15. The 5 students in 87, 88. Then built to 15. And then by 1990, we had 60 to 70 students coming through the door.
What did you have last year?
Last year, the amount of number that we had, the largest number we had on one night was 70. Wow. Which stunned me because, our enrollment's dropped.
Yeah.
At one point in the first
enrollment across the district
is dropped. Yes.
Not in your program.
And it's, I see this happening across the Cape as well, as we both know. And extracurricular numbers should be coming down, but ours stayed that big. As the year fleshed out, I'd say rotating through Monday nights, we had 45 to 50 different students on a regular basis.
Pretty amazing, though.
With 35 usually at a meeting at any given time. And that really made me excited because I knew when I decided to retire, there's a rule that all the faculty advisors know around Model UN world, that when they leave, they might not be replaced because somebody has to be interested in taking up the
It takes passion.
It takes passion. And fortunately, we have 2 people who have that passion.
Thank gosh.
And want to make it go. And then the students have that passion too. And they want to keep it going. So I was out on the medical leave this spring. When I was in the hospital, my sister asked me, worried about anything in school? I'm not worried about anything in school.
Just the Model UN.
And not even the Model UN, because the people were there who wanted to run it.
Yeah.
And I got a phone video from Mike Welch on the opening of a Monday night session, or Bridget Carl, who's on the school committee, opened the session, and I said, they're all set.
They're going to run.
They're going to run. And that running is going to continue right on into next year and beyond.
So how did the field trip to Washington, D.C. come about?
Field trip to New York, actually.
Oh, New York, I'm
That's
sorry.
right. It came about, a lot of schools go to conferences on weekends like we used to. We used to go to the Clark's conference.
Yeah.
Until they shut it down in '97, and they had a change of advisor and things changed. And we didn't go to another college conference because the price of them started to spike. They became very, very expensive to go to because you have to handle accommodations and transportation and the fees for the conference. So I was saying to myself, what can we do with the students that gives them more, but is manageable financially? So, well, let's go visit the UN in New York. And we did that twice for one day. I mean, we took a P&B bus down. Mrs. Lewis's crew went down with us on one day. Visit the UN, visit a couple other sites, and then come home. They said, that was good, but we can do more. So I designed, along with really the students, back 2012, we came up with a program. And 12 of us went down to New York. It was before Christmas. So we had a Model UN tour. And then we went to visit museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Radio City Music Hall. I highly recommend that you not only see the Christmas show of the Rockettes, but get the tour of the Radio City Music Hall.
Is that what the kids do? They get the tour?
You get the tour and see the show, because there's a lot of history in that building.
Oh, yeah.
So they had a chance to do that. So and then we had a chance to go down to the World Trade Center area, visit Wall Street, visit South Street Seaport. And that was a winner. Just 12 students, and that was a winner. And then word passed to the senior, okay, we got to do that again next year.
You have to be involved in the model.
You have to be involved in the model.
Yeah.
So the numbers were, there was one year where we had only one senior, but what we did is we took the leadership crews that we had down. We had 25 students go down there. And I had a mix from sophomore to senior, but it still went great. We've been able to keep it seniors only, I think, for the past 10 years or so. And we expanded it to include the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but the Museum of Natural History as well. And that became a big winner after the movie Night at the Museum came out.
Right.
That just was a...
For my 4-year-old also.
Yeah, we had to go there. And then we expanded the UN experience to include a briefing from a UN official.
Yeah, that's what you told us about at school committee.
And that was exciting. And if you take a group of adults down, get a group set up, you can, 3 months ahead, I think it is, ask the UN to provide a speaker. And you can give a subject, they'll have an expert come down. And they do some very special things. One year they sent down the second ranking member of the mine clearance group that goes to like Cambodia to clear the landmines out.
Yeah.
And he was able to give us this tremendous rundown on the politics and progress of removing landmines from all these countries that still have them.
Wow.
Going back to World War II.
The kids must have thought that was amazing.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, they've had experts come down on the whole issue of international development. So you have students get a chance to meet somebody who's actually in the middle of all the action.
That's pretty cool.
And that just extends their view of the world even more.
So you're still going to be involved in the next few years? With
Yes,
this
I will be.
program?
I'll be
How's
involved.
that involvement?
What we'll do is this. Rebecca Lewis and Mike Welch are going to be the advisors. They're going to run everything. And then what I'll do when they need me to is do some coaching with the kids on the skills that they need, debating skills and all the resolution writing skills.
Yeah.
And those are things that I'll be doing and working with, also with other schools. Also, when they go to some of the Saturday conferences, that's something where I can serve as another adult on the trip.
Go with them.
Yeah, I can go with them.
Nice. That's
And I'm available to do that, and that's
hard to
something-
give it up.
It's hard to give that part of it up from the standpoint you get a chance to see the kids in action.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And if I can keep doing that, I know that because of my association with all the schools, I can be at a conference and work with the faculty there, as well as work with the students, to keep this program going out of the schools.
Well, you can see it with the students. They're not going to let it die.
Yeah, they're not going to let it die. It's
What you
important.
started is something that's going to move forward for a really long time.
And like as I said, if I had to step away from it completely tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me at all because I know it's going to go on.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. It is.
Yeah.
If that's what the legacy, I think it's a great legacy.
It certainly is. So what are you going to miss the most?
What am I going to miss the most? I think I'm going to miss the challenge of teaching classes that are challenging. Not just the AP, but a class like the International Relations course, where it's a current events course. Everything's changing every day.
Yeah.
So you have to develop a curriculum that deals with that. I had a wonderful opportunity because I came in and I was the world history guy, whereas the other members of the department had all the US history courses. So this is how it happens in departments, okay? Some of your history and social science faculty become the experts in US. So what was available to me at that time? The world, so that's where I went. But in the last 10 years I had a chance to teach US, and US History 1. And that's, American Revolution to Reconstruction, and that was great. Because I had a chance to dive into history that I'm studying on my own around Chatham and the Cape.
Good.
So I'm going to miss the opportunity to do that. Then it's just, being with the people.
Being with the kids and the faculty and being involved in everything.
Anybody who's out there who wants to teach, 75% of the job is handling people and being with people. How to work with that. And I'm going to miss that because I've been lucky. I've had, over the 32 years, great people to work with.
Yeah.
And to see it, as I come to an end, I like where the school system is going. I like the fact that you were involved with school committees to sit down and have conversations like this, because it's bringing to the public, as we mentioned earlier, aspects of the school that they didn't know were there, and now they're going to be able to see that. So it's missing the people, and it's missing the chance to challenge myself.
Well, you still have it a little bit with the UN, it sounds like.
Yes,
I'm
going to stay involved with that. And I'm also, for the teachers who are taking over my classes, particularly the advanced placement, the world history, which is a very new course here, and the comparative government and politics, which is a very vital course because of the countries it teaches, I'm going to be doing some coaching with them.
Good.
They're going off to institutes this summer to get ready. And then because of my experience, I'm going to be able to take them at various times over the course of the year and show them things that they can do to make sure that the course goes well. Because they don't have 180 days. The tests come up in May.
Right.
So they're under the gun. I can show them how to use that time.
Well, I'm sure your resource will be valuable to them.
Well, I think it's going to be helpful.
We did a great job at the graduation.
Thank you very much. That was
an unbelievable day.
Graduation. I've been involved with graduation for probably since '95. A gentleman by the name of Jim Campbell, who was a teacher here, ran it when I was here, and I watched him handle it, and I worked with him to help make sure everything got done, getting the students marshaled and ready to march and everything. And then when he left, I took it over for a while. And it's a very interesting process because the students in that week before they get out of class and graduation are kind of in this limbo.
Oh yeah.
So what I try to do is bring their attention to why graduation is important, what it means to them, so they can get kind of focused on it. And I like to say it's worked out because we do something very special at Sandwich, and we actually give the diploma out. A lot of schools, for purely logistical reasons, don't give the actual diploma. One of the reasons is they'll set up the kids in the stands, like the girls will be wearing white, the boys a different color, like a darker color, and they go white, blue, white, blue, white, blue. When you set that up, you can't ask your secretaries to set up the diplomas in that order.
Right.
So there's one. And the other issue is discipline. Over the years, the schools have had to hold out the diploma as leverage over the students so they'll behave.
Yeah, till after the ceremony.
Till after the ceremony. And one thing I told the students is we don't do that. We say to the students, look, we trust you, this is an accomplishment. We think that you appreciate this, and we want you to know that it doesn't matter how you got there. You've all accomplished something great, a great thing.
Yeah.
And they believed in that. And they believed in that to the point where, you've seen so everybody's behaved.
Well, I've been there the last 2 years.
Yeah,
It's a great ceremony.
It's a great ceremony. And so I think it speaks a lot about the town of Sandwich and its students, that we don't have to worry about that.
No.
And they understand the importance of the moment.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment.
Well, thank you very much.
For everything that you've done for the town of Sandwich. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a value having you, obviously, and you've done great work. So
Thank you.
I wish we could keep you.
WSDH Live is recorded at WSDH Studios in Sandwich, Massachusetts. We are executive produced by Paula Johnson with podcast production by Ryan Hill. He also made the music. Remember to check out WSDH on TuneIn.com and the TuneIn app for more great content. As always, thank you for supporting Sandwich Community Radio. We'll catch you next time.